Black Alpha Network, home of Black excellence.
All my brothers, sisters, kings, queens, the goddess, and the gods. Make no mistake about it. Whatever goes down is going to be because of us. Whatever changes get made, it's going to be because of us, because we living in our era. And this is our motherfucking time, and we all in the motherfucking house. B1 Brigade, I salute you. Let's do what we do best. Go all the way to fuck in. Let's get it. All right. Black Alpha Network, back in the motherfucking building. Let's get to work, y'all. One love, I salute you. You already know. Love all y'all with a passion. Let's keep smashing on them because, a lot of motherfuckers be letting people off the hook. They be giving excuses, alibis, justifications. That's the thing about B1. We don't do that. B1, we just call shit as it is, right down the motherfucking middle. If your ass on some bullshit, we gonna tell you about it. If your ass on some real shit, we gonna rock with you. There ain't too many lines to draw. When you start drawing all these different fucking lines, you make things complex, confusing, and we ain't got no time for confusion. What Malcolm X said, we're gonna keep things nice and plain. And shout out to everybody on their Malcolm X Day, May 19th. I hope you enjoyed yourself because that's a real black holiday created by us. That ain't no holiday that the supremacists created for us so they can give us a pacifier, a dog bone, and just to hush us up. No. This ain't Black History Month in the month of February so we can celebrate all the oppression that the W's have given us. Now, this is something that we created on our day to commemorate our hero, Malcolm. And that's what I said before. If you go watch my Huey Newton video, we got to represent our own heroes. We got to represent our own family, our own team, people that mean something to us. We got to represent them. See, I never really understood Black History Month, and I don't celebrate that, just for the record, because Black history is every single motherfucking day, and I'm talking about on the planet. I don't care if you're talking about Africa. I don't care if you're talking about the diaspora. I don't care if you're talking about Europe, because black folks was there, okay, originally, indigenous. I don't care where you are, because remember, the first person on every single continent in every single country was black. Science has shown this. It has been proven, okay? So no matter which one you choose to celebrate, or if you choose to celebrate all of them, black history is world history, and it's the number one history. You understand? And with that said, we're going to celebrate everything that we sponsored, everything that got our motherfucking stamp on it. Why you celebrate something somebody gave you when you can celebrate something you gave your motherfucking self? Independence is everything. You know what I mean? Not being dependent, being independent. It's a big motherfucking difference. So we're going to own ours, we're going to represent ours, and we're going to say it motherfucking loud. Feel me? And speaking of that, that brings me to today's episode of the Black AlphaCast. Make sure you subscribe and share. We are on fire right now. Turn all the way up. We're about the fastest, hottest growing voice in the black community, catching fire every single day, and we're going to keep holding it down. And when I say we, I mean we. Like I said before, this ain't no one group guy. This ain't no two leaders, none of that. The code is the leader. All you gotta do is live the code. And we living it, and we repping it, and we letting every motherfucker know what we about. And they gonna feel us one way or another, and they ain't got no motherfucking choice. So with that motherfucking said, let's talk about the race bubble. Let's talk about reality that we live in, things that we go through, and things that we know are facts versus the narrative that they try to force upon us. Based upon how everything we do and everything that goes on, everything we engage in is basically a tug of war between what we know is the truth versus the falsehoods that they try to sell, they try to force, and they try to forge upon us. If you look at the black struggle, I'm talking about from day one until today, it's always, we know what the real is, and then they sell us a fake narrative. And then they take that narrative, they put it in the media, they put it everywhere, and they spread that shit all over the world. And it's basically turned into black saying, hey, this is what's going on. And every other group saying, nope, it's this. Hey, no, this is what's happening. And then they say, nope, it's that over there. And now we're in a battle about our own motherfucking reality. And it's been like that for years. Just look at the black condition. What's the black condition? You had black folks back in the day saying, we are oppressed. The other group says, no, you're not. We got black folks out there saying, hey, we struggling. They say, no, you're not. They tell us who our friends are. They tell us who our heroes are. They tell us how to solve our own problems. Nobody else on the planet Earth gets told how to handle their problems. Nobody else on the planet Earth gets told who their heroes are. Nobody else on the planet Earth gets a holiday given to them. How the fuck somebody gonna give you a holiday about you? How motherfucker gonna tell you who your heroes are? How motherfucker gonna tell you that the history that your grandpa's grandpa done lived with isn't true? That's called being dictated to. I remember Muhammad Ali on TV one day. He was on some television show back in the 1970s. He was serving folks. I mean, everybody who said something, he was just checking them. Bop, 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 bop. Basically, it was a bunch of people trying to tell him what the black experience is, what the black condition is, what black plight is all about. And he told him, you can't tell me what the black experience is. I'm a black man. I'm the authority on this subject. You can't be the authority on my life. And he pointed at the camera and he said, I know it's real. I know we're oppressed. And every black person watching this right now knows we're oppressed. And that's what they still do to us today. That's what they've done to us hundreds of years. Trust me, before anybody right now listening was born, they was doing this back in the day. They was telling slaves, you ain't got it bad. You got it good. You're not a slave. Massa gave you a good name, Toby. Quit complaining. Get it together. It ain't that bad. This is what your condition is. This is how you feel. This is what's really going on. They'll go around this whole world and tell everybody else what their experience is. They got PhDs in everybody else's life. Ain't got none on their own. You start asking them about supremacy, it's what? I didn't know. Let the facts come out. We need to have a conversation. When it come to what they do, can't see nothing. They third graders. When it come to what everybody else does, all of a sudden, they got x-ray vision. They can see through walls and shit. They turn into professors. Well, black people are like this, because the mind and the brain is affected by their society, because when they grow up in a disenfranchised community and they listen to all that rap music, makes them want to go sell those drugs and sag their pants and have baby mama dramas. Man, get the fuck out of here. Got PhDs and everybody's shit but your own. You allowing somebody to come around here and tell you about your life, but when it comes to the shit they do on camera, they can't ever seem to put it together. Get the fuck out of here. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the race bubble that they keep us living in. And this is what always happens. And black folks fall for this explanation. Can I tell you another word for someone who's always explaining themselves? It's called a loser. If you're always explaining yourself or always in a debate with somebody, you've lost. I don't explain shit. I only speak to my real ones. I only speak to my family, and we understand each other straight up eye to eye. They've had black folks explaining themselves for hundreds of years. Newsflash, they're lying to you. They don't give a fuck what you say. They're only trying to make it look like they're giving you a fair shake, like they have any concern for you. It's a motherfucking con game, and all they are con artists, okay? When black folks want to explain their condition, you want to explain why Johnny didn't deserve to get popped on camera, these motherfuckers seen the same footage you seen. They seen Rodney King getting beat unjustly. They seen Eric Gardner getting choked unjustly. They seen Andrew Brown Jr. getting ambushed. They don't give a fuck. They're not just content with black oppression, they support it. The harming of black folks is something they love to see, hands down. And making black folks think that explaining themselves is actually going to change things is something they love to do. Because it makes them look like good folks. It makes them look like angels who really want to get to the bottom of this. It's the conversation con. Don't fall for that shit. And black folks keep falling for it. They keep falling for the fake conversation. Why do you think they always say, let's talk about it? We just need to have a conversation amongst each other. What the fuck you think we've been doing? You mean to tell me as long as everybody's been in this country, we've never had a race conversation? Yeah, okay. All that shit is to stall you, keep you running in place, keep you running in circles, get you nowhere. And they've done that for every generation. They was telling folks way back in the day, hundreds of years ago, let's just talk about it. Black folks say this, they say no. Then 100 years later, black folks say that, and they say nope. And then right now today, black folks say, hey, this is happening. And what do they say? No, it ain't. They got you stuck in the conversation con. The conversation con game is one of their favorite things. That, the debate game, where you go back and forth with them, that ain't going nowhere. Explaining yourself, that don't go nowhere. It's not about having a conversation. It's about, does the motherfucker you talking to agree with you? Are they going to change their behavior? And the fact of the matter is we conversate with these folks, we explain our plight, we explain our experience and our condition, and they never change their behavior. In the conversation, they tell you they don't agree. So what the fuck you talking for? I'll tell you why. Who does talking, explaining, debating benefit the most? Does it benefit the person who's being oppressed? Or does it benefit the oppressor? And if you look at every single subject from the lenses of that, then you're going to find your answer and you stick with it. Does this benefit the oppressor or the oppressed? And if it benefits the oppressor, don't do it. Don't do it. And that goes back to what I said in the beginning of this video. All that complex and confusing shit gets you nowhere. And that's all the conversation does. It leads you right back into them. Trust me, they got hundreds of traps that they can whip out on you quick. They go into that supremacist bag and pull out any goddamn thing. And the conversation con is one of them. Oh yes, it is. And this is what I'm talking about. They'll tell you about your plight. They'll tell you about your condition. They'll ask you to explain yourself. When you explain yourself, they say, no, it ain't. And then we'll go on. We'll do that shit for hundreds of fucking years. Trust me, the next generation, they'll be doing that same shit to them. But it's on us to get the next generation prepared so they know when a motherfucker come around here and they ask you to have a conversation or to talk, don't even do it. Tell their ass. Because that's how the fuck we get down. And that's what Muhammad Ali was doing in the video. Muhammad Ali wasn't sitting there telling them, well, this. Muhammad Ali said, this is what the fuck is happening. You don't like it? I don't give a fuck. You heard me though. And every black person around this planet knows what goes on. Everybody on this earth knows black folks are oppressed. Everybody on this earth knows that when you think of racism, you think of black people being oppressed. You don't think of no other group. Black folks are so oppressed that when you think of the word oppressed, you think of a black person. Black folks are so oppressed when you think of the word racism, you think about black folks being victimized. I know we live in this world now where everybody wants to be oppressed and everybody wants to be us and everybody wants to get down with us and everybody wants to take what happens to us so they can use it so they can go get their own benefits. Bullshit. When you think of that word, you think of us being victimized. Straight up and down. Us being unjustly bumped off because it's been documented for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. That's the fucking plight. And you don't need to explain shit. What they say was understood don't need to be discussed. And we always out here discussing shit that's already understood. And we ain't on that, and that ain't going on over here. I'm from the tell it how it is era. You don't like it, your feelings get hurt, fuck you, I don't give a damn. I'ma speak what's real, I'ma speak what's on my mind, and my only loyalty is to the truth. And if the truth hurts, motherfucker, you best to get to running, cause we gonna bring it. And that's the line that Certified Black Society will always push for eternity. And I ain't even gotta ask, cause I know how y'all get down, but let's just say this shit for the motherfucking universe to hear. Are any of y'all really interested in explaining to somebody how means they are to you? Really? B1s, rock with me. Is any B1 out there really concerned with telling somebody how much they hurts me? You hurts me, boss. That hurt, massa. I wish you wouldn't do that anymore. Is any of that shit entertaining to y'all? Because I know damn well that shit ain't entertaining to me. I'd rather just bypass all that shit and check a motherfucker on sight. I mean, it's quicker, it's faster, it's cheaper. I can do it and go on about my day. I can do that and go to Zaxby's and go get a club sandwich. That shit good as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather just go check your ass, go to Zaxby's, get a sandwich, cool out, kick my feet up, Gucci. But at the end of the day, I'd rather just check a motherfucker than plead to him to be nice to me. And that's what explaining, that's what having a conversation, all that shit. That's exactly what it is. It's falling right into the hands of supremacy. And you never want to do that. And damn sure for real, on everything, I will spend every second of my life making sure that the youth does not fall for that. I mean, when Toby was explaining himself during slavery, you know what I'm saying? And folks was explaining themselves during the civil rights era, and they was explaining themselves in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. We still gonna be explaining our plight to a motherfucker who's on document. Every time you tell them your plight, they just say, no, I heard what you said, I asked you, but I already had my mind made up that no matter what this motherfucker said, I was just gonna tell him, nah, that ain't the case. Fucks of that. Ain't happening around here. That's not how the fuck we rock. We too motherfucking strong for that. We too powerful. And all my real brothers, sisters, kings, queens, goddess, and gods, we gonna check motherfuckers and we gonna let them know what time it is. There's a difference between explaining, debating, and telling the motherfucker how you feel. And we're on the side of telling the motherfucker how we feel. And sometimes we may not even tell you. You may just see it. Because some things are better just shown. What they say? I can show you better than I can tell you. And that's the side of the fence we on. We showing motherfuckers what it is. When you gotta speak and you gotta talk and you gotta explain and conversate, that means a motherfucker already got you taking the L. We all walk around all day long and say actions speak louder than words, but when it comes to supremacy, we want to use words. Massa, listen, please. Fuck you, you cool, fuck you, I'm out. Half-baked. I'm on one, as usual. Let's listen to Malcolm X. Malcolm X said it best. Malcolm said, tell him how you feel. Let that motherfucker know what it is. Translation, if a motherfucker try to play you, get with him. And let's listen to Brother Malcolm. He speaks it then, and we're going to speak it now. Let's bring truth to power. Check it out.
And I, for one, as a Muslim, believe that the white man is intelligent enough. If he were made to realize how black people really feel and how fed up we are without that old compromising sweet talk. Stop sweet talking him. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what kind of hell you've been catching, and let him know that if he's not ready to clean his house up, if he's not ready to clean his house up, he shouldn't have a house.
And that's why I love Malcolm, and that's why we love Malcolm, because Malcolm was straight to the point. Muhammad Ali, straight to the point. Paul Mooney, R.I.P., straight to the point. And that's the only way you handle supremacy. You do not handle supremacy falling for their trips, their tricks, their cons, none of that shit, because they're going to get you every time. You handle supremacy straightforward. All that explaining and shit, that's for kids. We grown. This is the grown folks table. You know what I'm saying? I said this a million times. We'll say it again. We'll say it another million. This shit is harsh, so we going to be harsh right along with it. Only difference is we got the truth on our side. We got power on our side. We got liberation. We got freedom. We got justice. We doing the good work. You know? How the fuck you going to be doing the good work but you scared? How the fuck you gonna have the most powerful ancestors? You got the most powerful soul, but you run around here tiptoeing, tap dancing. No, never that. And explaining yourself is one of them. And that's the race bubble. They always tell you what you're living. They always tell you how you feel. How many times you done seen them bring somebody on fucking TV and you sitting at home like, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this lady? Never seen them. It'll be CNN. They say, we're gonna bring on Shaquita Jones from loveeverybody.com. She's gonna speak on behalf of the black community. Motherfucker, I don't know you. You couldn't pick these people out in a lineup that they bring on television. Let's bring on Marquise Jackson from itsallblackfolksfault.org. And these be black folks. And they be on there saying, well, as a black person, let's speak for all black people. And the average person in the street don't even know these people. They do this to us all the time. They tell us our heroes. They tell us our holidays. They tell us how we feel. They tell us why we are the way we are. Can't never tell you about why they are the way they are. Even though I know, you know, motherfucker, everybody sees the way they are. They can't ever give you them answers, okay? But they always are trying to force feed us some bullshit. And they bring on these people that are nobodies. I mean, absolute fucking nobodies. It ain't even a motherfucker that you can be like, I seen him before. I know who she is. No, these be people you've never fucking seen. Look at all these race panels. How many times you done seen like a race discussion? Tonight at Tuesday, let's talk racism in America. We're gonna bring on him, and her. Her, and him. And we be like, who the fuck are any of them? Because the average black person in the street does not align themselves with these folks, does not recognize these folks, does not deal with these folks, and damn sure ain't to be spoken of on behalf of these folks. And they always want to come and speak on behalf of the black community. You would think if you speak on behalf of a group, the group would actually know who the hell you are. We don't know these motherfuckers worth nothing. I literally just seen a panel of black folks that I've never seen ever in my life, and I'm pretty motherfucking plugged in. Ain't it crazy that you can go out here in the streets, or you can go out on the internet or anything, and you have people that you know of, you know? You have the Dr. Claude Andersons. You have the Vicky Dillards. You have the Tariq Nasheeds. You have the Dr. Umar Johnsons. You even got folks like Brother Polite and these guys that people know out here. And then you turn on TV, it's nobody. Never seen. Never saw, never heard, don't give a motherfucker about. And that's what the fuck they doing. They've been doing that shit for a long time. They go and hand select these little sellouts. They go and hand select these counterfeits. They prop them up and they give them to you. And they speak like they're some type of prominent voice in the community. Like they're some type of leader. You don't lead. How are you a voice in the community? No one's ever heard you. How are you some type of pillar in the community when you couldn't get enough people to fill up a pizzeria? You couldn't fill up a goddamn corner store with the people who follow you. Hey, what's that one dude's name? The big dehydrated looking dude. The dude who be sweating when he's just talking. The big bowling ball looking. Roland Martin. That guy. Now, I ain't even clowning him right now, which I could. Trust me, I got a lot of things I can say about him. I can clown him for hours, days, years. I mean, trust me, he's an easy target. But we ain't gonna clown him right now. We gonna clown him later. You ever see his show and he has those little panels of all those nobodies? Do y'all know who any of them motherfuckers is? I've never seen none of them. These motherfuckers be having 3 followers on Instagram talking about they're a leader in the black community. They have 3 followers and 2 of them are their parents. And they be talking about as a black person. No, you ain't as a black person. Your ass as a nobody is talking on the black condition and you ain't really about shit. And this goes back to slavery. When the slave master will go get somebody in the plantation that people didn't even fuck with. Okay. Little Freddie that sits in the corner all day long, that when we out here doing our thing, he's over there plotting and scheming. They'll go pick him out, bring him into the plantation, dress him up nice, and send him out. And he'll speak on behalf of us. No, you're not no representative. We don't know you. All right? And this is what I'm talking about. They pick our leaders. Think about it. We call it the civil rights era. Half the people in that era weren't even fighting for civil rights. Martin Luther King and all them guys, they was fighting for civil rights and equality and getting milkshakes dumped on their head. Those are the people that supremacists end up picking and making the face of that era. I don't even like saying the civil rights era because I follow a lot of people in that era that weren't about civil rights. It was about black liberation. Big difference. All right. The Panthers, the NOI, Pan-Africanism, a lot of these people out there weren't out here fighting for civil rights, but we call it the civil rights era. Why? We call it the civil rights era because those were the nice folks that the W's could use, just like Freddie in the corner on the plantation, just like the house brother, that they could put off on black folks. So when he sat down and said, let's pick their leaders, he didn't go pick them brothers who was about it. Just like 20 years from now, they're going to try to tell you this was the BLM era. This was the Black Lives Matter era. They're going to be taking all of these people from the Black Lives Matter movement, group, whatever. I'm going to get them another day. Trust me, we coming. Anyway, they're going to go get a bunch of them and they're going to try to sell it as the Black Lives Matter era, the same way they try to sell it as the Civil Rights era. Because whenever they try to pick our leaders, trust me, don't think that they've been picking leaders for years, from the plantation to the civil rights folks to John Lewis, like John Lewis. Have y'all seen any real black person represent John Lewis? Would you even know who John Lewis was if he wasn't always being propped up? Andrew Young, would you know him if he wasn't being propped up? They'll take somebody that was on a march with Martin Luther King, that they were 17 rows back, and then they put him to the front of the line in the 80s and the 90s and said he was a leader. Y'all remember the he marched with Martin? The whole he marched with Martin, that became like this thing of like credentials. I'm like, I ain't really concerned with who marched with Martin. A lot of people marched with Martin. You had all type of agents and counterfeits and sellouts that marched with Martin. You had people that wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. You had a lot of folks who marched with Martin who wasn't nobody. You had a lot of people who marched with Martin that Martin didn't fuck with. And they took them nobodies and made them our leaders. The same way they took Martin Luther King and gave him a holiday and gave him a bridge and gave him a road. The same way that they tell you how to handle your problems. The same way they tell you what you going through. It's the same way over and over again. It's the race bubble. It's black folks tell you what their reality is, and then everybody else comes and says, no, it isn't. And then black folks explain it. And then they say, no, it isn't again. And then they debate it. And then they say, no, it isn't again. And then they complain and they cry and they beg and they forgive and they keep hearing no, motherfucking no. And the problem with that is their no don't mean shit. Any motherfucker can say no. You can say no until you blue in the motherfucking face. It don't matter. What that mean? I'm gonna say it like this. You're gonna say a lot of motherfucking things, but you ain't never gonna tell me about me. You ain't never gonna tell me about my people. You ain't never gonna tell me about my plight. You ain't never gonna tell me what my grandmother, grandfather, greats done told me. You ain't gonna tell me what the fuck I done seen with my own two eyes. I mean, it's to the point where they tell us what the fuck we just saw. How many times have you seen a black person unjustly knocked off on camera? And they'll say, that's not what happened. He didn't choke him really. He was fat. I mean, I just seen it with my own two eyes on camera. No, you didn't. You didn't see that. What it was that he was taking his gun and it accidentally discharged and it ricocheted off the tree. No, it didn't. He aimed at him, called him a whatever, and shot. No, he didn't. You can't win with these folks. You can't do it. You sitting here trying to change the conniver. You can't change the conniver. Conniver gonna connive, a shield gonna shield. You know what I mean? And a rider gonna ride. And we riding straight the fuck up. And we don't hear anything they say. The same way they don't give a fuck about you explaining yourself, the same way I don't give a fuck about what they think. You know, it's funny because we'll walk around all day long and say, I don't give a fuck what somebody think. But when it comes to them, then all of a sudden it's, no, listen. No, we are oppressed and we've dealt with things for years. This is why we do what we do. Man, fuck that. Listen, this is what the fuck it is. You don't motherfucking like it, do something. And doing something be the worst motherfucking mistake you make, especially when you're dealing with a B1 rider. You feel me? And that's the way we on, and that's the line we pushing, and we gonna continue to push it. And that's the motherfucking race bubble. That's what they always try to keep us in, where if they can just keep us right there and they can tell us what shit is, then they got us where they want us. But we don't go for that, never have. It's always them trying to tell us what our experiences is, what we seen, what we saw, what we did, where we come from, none of that. That's why a lot of folks around here, they think our history is what they tell us. We all started as slaves. Like there was never no black folks on the earth, it's just we popped up as slaves one day. That's the race bubble. When they tell you, you need to calm down and forgive and pray. Have you ever seen them tell any other group to forgive or pray? No, that's the race bubble. Have you ever seen them say, hey, go support that group over there. You got to support your friends. You ever seen them say that? No, that's the race bubble. You've never seen them ever go to any other group and tell that group, not ask, tell that group that you got to pick a side. Every conflict that goes on, they tell black folks which side we got to be on and how we got to go help somebody, how we got to forgive. You ever seen America ever get dictated to on how they solve their problem? If you do anything to America, trust me, they're gonna solve it the way they want to. They're not even listening to no outside advice. Ain't nobody gonna come to America and say, America, you need to handle it like this. America, don't go there. America, don't do this. It is known, if America got a problem, America gonna solve it as they want to. It's known that if that group over there got a problem, they gonna solve it as they want to. When it come to us, it's, nope, y'all do it how we want you to do it. Be nice. They never lecture anybody on niceness. You know what I'm saying? They never lecture anybody on forgiveness. We are the only ones they do this for. It's once again being dictated and living in a race bubble. You know what I'm saying? You see it all the time. I just seen the president go on TV and tell a whole nother country they got the right to do this and they got the right to defend themselves. Has anybody in 500 years ever told us we had the right? You'll actually see our family get harmed. And no one will ever say we got the right to defend ourselves. Even when our family's getting harmed, they won't tell us that. But they'll go tell a whole nother country, you can do what you want to do. Hey, feel free. Black folks says, whoa, calm down. I know it hurt. I know it was wrong. But when they go low, we go high. But we need to be nice to everybody. It doesn't solve anything. To eye for an eye leaves us all blind. I ain't never heard any of these slogans, none of these mottos be used on anybody else except for us. And by the way, the other person's way is never a way that gives us any liberation. It's always something that makes us continue the cycle of oppression. We're the only group who are told who our friends are. That group right there is your friends. Y'all gotta be nice to all those other groups. Those other groups never do nothing for you. None of the things you ever do is ever reciprocated. None of it at all. If you go march for them, they don't march for you. You go pray for them, they don't go pray for you. You go stand side by side with them, they walk to the other side of the street. They ain't gonna do nothing for you, but you better do it for them, because them is your friends. Race bubble, over and over, and we're here to put an end to it. And hey, we're not here to just talk about putting an end to it. We're here to do it. We're not like them folks who say, what we need to do is this. No, we just gonna do it. Now let me go back to something I said earlier. Speaking of holidays and things they give us, like Martin Luther King Day, Black History Month, all that. Juneteenth. Juneteenth was something that only black folks knew about, something that only black folks celebrated, and something that only black folks were on. The average American couldn't tell you what day it was, couldn't tell you what it was about, couldn't tell you anything. And then what happened? Last year, they got a hold of it. And what they do, they try to water it down, they try to mix it up, and they try to give it back to us. Same way they gave us that holiday, this holiday, same way they give us all that shit. They try to do the same thing with Juneteenth. And eventually they want to turn it into a we freed you day so they can take all the credit. Because remember, whatever we accomplish, they always slide themselves in and say, well, we played a role in it too. So they do the oppression, you fight for your justice, and after you have to fight tooth and nail just to get a piece of justice, they always got to take some type of credit for it. That's why anytime you hear something about black justice, they always say we did it. It was an American thing. They never treated black folks like Americans, but when black folks get things done, they say America did it. No, we did it. We did it. And that's what they're trying to do with Juneteenth. Watch, all of a sudden Juneteenth is going to be used as a weapon against us. It's going to turn into American holiday. It's going to turn into we done got better. Racism is gone. One big family, unity. What are you talking about? There's no more racism. It's going to turn into some shit like that. The same way that Black history turned into, well, you know, we as Americans. The same way MLK turned into, he had a dream that we'd all be free together. We. So no, it's not an American holiday. It's a foundational Black American holiday. Remember that. I tell black folks consistently, racism is not about evidence and it's not about facts. It's about will and power. One more time for your motherfucking mind. It's about will and power. Do you have the power to determine your own destiny? Because everybody's out here fighting for their own. So if you ain't got the power to make your stamp, to put your print on things, you're going to get passed up. And that's always been the issue. Black folks have gotten passed up because everyone else does whatever the fuck they want to do. And we've been out here doing what everyone wants us to do. They do as they choose, we do as they say. That's why the condition has not changed. And this is all based on the testimony of the criminal. The criminal said it didn't happen, so it didn't happen. Let's get that right. Hold on. The culprit said it didn't happen, and we just gotta believe him. We just have to. Nah, fuck that. Ain't no motherfucking way. You tell me anywhere in the world where that would be in effect. Have you ever seen in a courtroom they say, hey, the criminal said he didn't do it, and we gotta believe him. Not guilty, case dismissed. Everybody go home. Do. And everybody just gets up and walks out the courtroom smiling. Fuck no. It don't go on there, and it ain't gonna go on here. Ain't no way. And you explaining yourself to them. You debating them. You trying to get some attention from them. Man, fuck that. You live in a world where the supremacist says supremacy doesn't exist, and these folks taking it as face value. Shit. Not certified, not B1. We throw that shit right back. I'm talking about the person who is documented. I'm talking about the motherfucker who's on photo camera, video camera, candid camera, security camera, written down, drawn, sketched in every single form. Print, cursive, typewriter, fax machine, coloring book, color pencils, markers, permanent. They literally got these folks practicing supremacy in crayon. We done all seen pictures where they whipping black folks, got them tied up in crayon. They was practicing that coloring book supremacy. I mean, you know you is low when you doing supremacy in a coloring book. I done seen it in a coloring book in elementary school, and I done seen it on the news last night. That's from start to finish. So yeah, you gonna hold this L. You gonna hold it. And B1s, we gonna hand it to you. Personally. Damn. Damn. That's pathetic. Let me tell you how it is and how it's gonna go. You wanna know? I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna go. It's gonna go however the fuck B1 say it's gonna go. That's what it is. They say what the fuck they say, and I don't even listen. They talk all that, well, we don't know yet, and let all the facts come out, and I say, fuck that. It is what I say it is. If B1 says it's true, then it's true. Straight up. If somebody just gonna say it's true, and it's gotta be accepted, then goddamn it, that somebody gonna be us. And I said it previous. I'm so glad to be a part of this era right here. Absolutely my honor. It is a privilege. I am more than proud. I love studying the 60s and the 70s, the 1900s, 1800s, all the way back through slavery, Africa. I study black history from top to bottom because black history is world history. And I study every piece of it. But this era right here, this is the B1 era. And we on some groundbreaking shit. This the new motherfucking wave and you could feel it. It's some shit that you could feel in your soul. And it's going on right now. We all a part of it. We all a part of it. We all playing a role. We represent and we gonna put our motherfucking stamp on it. And they gonna look back on us and say, them motherfuckers right there put it down. And we gonna be the ones who turn this all around. Straight up and down because we too motherfucking talented. Too talented. And that goes back to what we saying. The power to determine your own destiny. And that's what we doing right here. And that's what we gonna continue to do all the way forward. Non-stop. All gas, no brakes. Because ain't nothing like a foundational, ain't nothing like a certified, and ain't nothing like a B1. All those terms right there are new terms. Because it's a new day, and it's a new motherfucking wave. And they best to get ready for it. Because the dough getting kicked in, and we gonna come and we gonna plant that motherfucking flag. Never allow somebody to tell you about your situation. Never allow somebody to tell you about your experience. Never allow someone to tell you what you've seen with your own two eyes. Especially when it comes to this BLACK. You dig? This is ours. We own this. If you ever own anything in your life, you own your own blackness. You know, you wake up black in the morning, you go to sleep black, you was born black, your people are black, and you better own it because it's beautiful. Black is beautiful. You understand? And it's so goddamn beautiful that it will not be disrupted and it will not be dictated by nobody, especially an other. Make sure you remember that, make sure you write that down, and make sure you pass that all the way around. All the way live. And speaking of passing around, share this video with every real one you know like we always do. This is the Black Alpha Network. We had to break it down and I'm coming with it. Hey, it's getting hot outside. It's hot, it's getting turned up. This is gonna be a certified something, you know? And it's gonna be all about us. I don't wanna see no victims. I don't wanna see no explainers. We ain't having no conversation. We just bringing it. Straight up and down. We're gonna do this for the B1s. We're gonna do this for the foundationals. I got nothing but love. This for the whole circle. Black Alpha Network. Gonna keep pushing that line. Everybody, y'all stay good. Make sure that you stay safe and take care of yourself. I remember the great Afeni Shakur. She said it best. She said, before you do anything, make sure you take care of yourself first because you are the most important. Because without you, you can't take care of your loved ones. And without your loved ones, we ain't got nothing. Because we all we got. Then, now, and forever. Y'all stay safe out there, baby. We gonna keep bringing it. I salute all y'all. One love from the Black Alpha Network because black is beautiful and beautiful is black.